everyone, and today we're joined by Simon McLean, and Simon is better known in the backyard ultra world as Simon Strides. So welcome, Simon, and thank you so much for taking the time to slot us in and your busy schedule.
Not a problem, Megan. Thank you very much for having me. It's great to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, Simon, about your background in running and how you got into ultra running.
Yeah. So running for me started. It's a pretty sort of well-known story if you've listened to any other interviews, but I sort of started dabbling in a bit of running after I lost my dad to melanoma back in 2016.
Yep.
But it was never anything serious. It was sort of a way to get out. You know, I got invited with a couple of friends every now and then to go and do a bit of a jog. And then I was actually overseas at the time, and then I came back. We moved back to New Zealand, and a different group of friends of mine, some work colleagues, were getting into it, and I sort of thought, yeah, we'll jump on the bandwagon. And then someone invited me to a park run. A family member invited me to a park run, and then I was like, that was pretty good actually. And then sort of just expanded from there, really.
From there, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of people, you know, like a life event or even just a reach out and invite to a park run, something that simple can. Yeah, I definitely didn't think it would shape the last 5 years, that's for sure. So
yeah. And in backyards, I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, but it sort of came around the COVID times and when events were restricted and things. So obviously they carried on through that COVID period.
Yeah, they did. So I think it starts back in 2020 when I did my first marathon, and I remember getting across the finish line telling myself I was never going to do another one of those again. As I think you do, and a couple of days later, that was completely out the window. So I went into this realm of training, and I sort of started researching more about, you know, I guess my initial thought was that people didn't run further than marathons. Like, that was a long way.
Yeah.
And then you start running and you deep dive into this realm of ultra marathons. And so, yeah, a couple of years later, I ended up booking myself in for Tarawera Maila, which was postponed due to COVID. Yeah. And I had done all this training, and I really didn't want it to go wasted. And I started doing a bit of a search, and the Riverhead Relapse came up. I think it was on my Facebook feed, to be honest, you know, and it was this lactic turkey events and backyard ultras. So I jumped on the website and I was like, what is this? And then I saw the format and I was like, wow, that's a cheap entry fee. So I messaged my wife and said, I can't do Tarawera, but I found this other event and it's in Auckland in our backyard. And, you know, can I put an entry in? And we didn't really know what to expect. But we just had such a great time. Such a great time.
And Kim, your wife, did she crew for that one?
Yeah. So we sort of it got quite big quite quickly, and we had a bit of a plan with some work colleagues who heard about me doing it, and they thought they would want to come and jump down. So we sort of made a little bit of a roster. We had no idea what we were doing. Just so fresh. We made a bit of a roster, and I had some friends come down and crew, and Kim was there, and our eldest daughter, Poppy, she must have been about 2 at the time. She was there, lapping it up in the sort of campground, you know, the start corral. But yeah, I mean, predominantly, and it's actually set a bit of a precedent. So I've been really fortunate to have both my wife, who's amazing, and also some really close friends who have crewed me from the very first backyard at Riverhead.
Yeah. And how many did you do in that first one?
I think it was like 19 loops.
Yeah.
And I remember being quite underwhelmed because, I mean, obviously I was training for the miler. And I thought I would at least, if I did any event, I thought I would at least be ready to get to the miler distance.
Yeah.
And then it's always that one thing the backyard throws at you, which is the time pressure of
Right.
not being able to rest when you want to rest, not being able to stop when you want to stop. The format is just so different to what you would normally expect for running an ultra marathon. And I think that's one of the things that really drew me into the event at the end of it. Yeah.
Dead Cow Gully, let's go back to July.
Yeah.
And yeah, from 19, I think you had a couple in between, but 90 yards at
90.
Dead Cow Gully. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's extreme.
So it was a large step, which I'm still really proud of, and something that I will always be really proud of. I think the one thing that I really learned from Dead Cow at 90 loops is that actually the step to go above that now to sort of that sort of, I'm not going to say world record territory, but I think where I'm positioned mentally now, I'm in a really positive spot that actually that difference going up feels like less of a step than what I've taken previously. And I think that just comes with experience in the backyard and stepping out and doing a few more of them. You sort of, your mindset starts to change. So
did you have a goal heading into Dead Cow Gully? Because obviously, like, I'm not really familiar with how the qualification for bigs comes about. But correct me if I'm wrong, is it the winner of each national country gets an entry, and then there's like an at-large list? Or
correct.
And is that a certain amount of laps, is it?
Yeah, so every second year when each country hosts a satellite champs, the team's satellite champs, the winner of each country's event gets a ticket to Bigs.
Gotcha,
Bigs is limited to 75 to 76 runners based on space and tent allocations. And so basically after the 50 countries from the Satellite World Championships, if everybody from those events opted to go to Bigs, then the remaining spots for the Bigs events gets filled with runners from the at-large list. And the at-large list is everyone who's ever competed in a regulated backyard who has the most amount of laps. So essentially you only get 25 spaces globally to fill those remaining spots. Now, as the country champions sort of withdraw or pull out or opt not to go, then more positions from the at-large list open up to be available.
Oh, cool. So with that in mind, did you have was there a particular target that was required to get to Bigs at that stage?
Yeah, there was. Yep. So the target for Bigs, from memory, I think I had to get 81 or 82. But that would put me at basically just being safe. Probably not even being safe. That would put me at the last person on an available spot if everyone chose to go who could.
Yeah, because then you could get bumped off, right?
Yeah, very easily. And, there was a backyard in Russia just a couple of weeks after Dead Cow. I think it was about 2, maybe 3, but it wasn't long after. And then there was 2 people who went into the 104 range there. So there definitely wasn't any room for error on that one.
That's enough.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't really thinking about Bigs at Dead Cow. Like, I sort of had sights set a bit higher than that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to not so much like put myself on any form of list, but I really just wanted to see, what I was capable of.
Yeah.
And 100 was my, like I would have loved to have really had 100 there.
Yeah.
And everything was there to do it,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't me. I believe that it just wasn't. I wasn't ready to go there. Like I needed Dead Cow to learn.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've done. So
You obviously your crew does document everything as
Yep.
you're going. So what lessons do you think did you guys take away from Dead Cow?
I think one of the main ones from Dead Cow, which has followed me a little bit in some previous ones as well, is that I didn't have a lot of planning around mental strategy. I probably needed to do a little bit better foot care more regularly. We were doing foot care, but it was probably just a little bit too far spaced out. And I had some issues with my big toenail, which didn't help, but definitely the mental strategy. Like I've started working, and you're probably going to ask me this, but I've started working with Lottie, who's a sports psychologist, since coming back from Dead Cow, and we've put a lot of things in my toolbox to both understand how I can be more present in the run at times, come up with ways of distraction. And I think those are going to pay dividends come bigs.
Yeah. Cool. So getting back to recovery, because it's only kind of been 3 months really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's the recovery look like? Like you said, you had a few feet issues and so I mean, I just can't get my head around the fact that you run for 90 hours. then how long does that take to come back from, until you can?
Like it's so personal for everybody, but for me, I do like to give myself probably more time than other people. I feel like life is very fast paced. We've got 3 beautiful kids that, but that's something that you can't push to the side. It doesn't go away. So you still have to be able to be present and show up as a parent, as a dad, as a husband. I came back from Dead Cow. I probably only had a couple of days and then I was back at work. So there's sort of the stress of fast-paced production that you've been away from and then coming back. So you're trying to catch up in that regard with staff and whatnot. So I probably do like to give myself more time because I feel like for the mental side of it, more than the physical side of it, I benefit from that. But it was probably only a couple of weeks before I was sort of back into not a big build, but chipping away 3, 4 runs a week, nothing massive. I like to start out by making them enjoyable again, so I try and target my runs like going back to runs with groups where they're a little bit more social, a little bit more fun, taking the pressure off, just really trying to stop that mental fatigue of going back into the thought of, all right, I've just finished this massive task. I don't like looking forward to the next one straight away because I find it just makes me a little bit anxious. So I do like to give myself some time.
That said, though, I mean, obviously, like the logistics of all that, you would have to pretty much commit straight away
quickly
to booking flights and accommodation and
I mean, for me, it was a real privilege to be able to get onto the at-large list enough to sort of come away from Dead Cow knowing that my spot was going to be quite safe. So for us coming home, it was really about understanding whether or not we could financially fund Bigs.
Right. Yeah.
We really, and in the end, we did run a bit of a fundraising campaign, where we did a give a little. We also hosted a pub quiz.
Yeah.
We did like an online silent auction with some stuff from people who donated to that.
Yeah, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't realise, that as an athlete, I mean, for backyard ultras, it's not a paid gig, right? It's
No.
you've still got the family to support, and comes
Yeah.
on maternity leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, there's always that sort of stress that comes along with it. And I've found it more within the last sort of year that you're almost trying to live a normal life, but push yourself to the point of, I mean, dare I say it, like not a professional athlete, but it's more than a hobby at this point. So you kind of get stuck in this limbo phase where you want to put the time and effort into it as if it's a full-time job, but you still have to work a full-time job.
Yeah.
And that brings its own challenges in itself. So yeah, but we're very fortunate. We had a lot of people who had our backs. There's a lot of positive support around the fundraising, and it became pretty apparent that about halfway through the time we gave ourselves, that we were just going to commit, and we would just make it work. So, and here we are next week. On the 10th of October, we fly out to the States for Big. So
yeah, because it sounds like the New Zealand backyard community's got behind you as well, and
they have massively.
Yeah.
I'm getting messages all the time, which I wouldn't expect from people I don't know, and it's very humbling. I've had messages saying, "How do you?" I'm in the same position as you. I've got young kids. I full-time dad. I full-time work. It's amazing to see what you're doing. How are you doing it? And to be able to kind of just be real with people and say, actually, there's nothing magic to it. It's hard work and it's exhausting, and being able to share tips and tricks that I've learned to help other people in the same position, sort of, maybe go that little bit further in their next backyard, or go a bit quicker in their next ultra. It's been really, really nice to be able to have that support, be able to give support back.
Yeah, rewarding.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So getting back to Tennessee, what's the plan? Like, obviously you leave on the 10th. How long does it take to get from, I presume you land in Tennessee, and then where in the middle of nowhere is this place?
So no, we actually we're flying from Auckland to Houston is our first flight.
Yeah.
And then we have a connecting flight we're actually flying into Atlanta, which is they have a lot of flights going in and out of Atlanta. If you try and fly into Nashville, there's not as many flights, and it's actually quite a bit more expensive to fly into Nashville.
Right.
So we're going Auckland to Houston to Atlanta. We have very fortunate to have some family in Atlanta, and we're going to spend a couple of days with them.
Yeah.
And then it's just a 3-hour drive up to Nashville from there.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
So we arrive on a Friday. On the Tuesday morning, I believe, we're going to drive to Nashville, and we've got that week in Nashville we're going to get out, do a little bit of running, try and just mentally deload a little bit, which is going to be really critical, especially for me, because I'm quite a I mean, I own it. Like, I'm an emotional runner. So having that time in Nashville to just really relax, enjoy some runs with the crew, and then we head to where the event is on the Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your crew being obviously Kim.
Yeah.
But the same crew that crewed for you at Dead Cow, or
No, we have a different crew this time.
Yep.
We've got Kim, who's there. We've got Hannah Presswood, who's the owner of Real Health Sports Nutrition.
Indeed,
You know, I've been working with Hannah since Sat Champs.
Yeah.
Primarily more during the racing for Sat Champs, and she was remotely overlooking my charts at Dead Cow from back here. But she's coming up, and then also super fortunate to have another really good friend of mine, Joss. She's actually the wife of Craig, who was one of my crew at Dead Cow. So there was a bit of a contention around if we could get both of them up there, or
because there's the restrictions on, because am I right in that they allocate tents? You
Yes.
have to share a tent with another runner?
You do,
and is
yes.
that just kind of luck of the draw, or how does that work?
So we've actually been fortunate. So I was under the impression it was luck of the draw, and then through Laz's communications, he's given options for people to request a tent mate.
Oh.
So I'm going to be tenting with Oriel, who was also at Dead Cow.
Yep.
Super nice guy, fantastic runner. We did quite a few loops together at Dead Cow. Really enjoyed each other's company. So I'm really looking forward to having him in the gazebo. And
is it likewise with the crew? Can they kind of team tag and support each other a bit, or?
A little bit, yeah. I'd say you probably can between your 10 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Each runner is only allowed one crew member on site at the event at a time. And this year they have actually opened it up, so you can have more than one crew, but there's certain times of the day where you can do a changeover. So you're only allowed to do a crew changeover at between 7 and 8 in the morning, and then 7 and 8 at night. So your crew have to do a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
Every time, which is actually, like, it's for the crew to be in the game, so I feel for them more than myself.
I would say so much there, but
because I can get pretty grumpy after 70 hours. It's like, so
you'd almost need a full-time support crew back home as well, like the kids are staying at home.
Kids are staying at home. Kim's parents are going to look after Poppy and Finn, our two oldest. And Neve, our youngest, who's 8 months. She's actually coming up with us.
Oh, okay.
So that adds a completely different dynamic. Like the one thing that, and again, the backyard's really good for it, is that it's always been family first for me, even at the events. Like my kids, our kids, they're always there. They're in the thick of it. We take it on. It's carnage, absolute carnage sometimes, but it just works. And I actually wouldn't have it any other way. And if I could, I would have them with me at the event. Like if it was an event where there wasn't restrictions on crew numbers and times and all that sort of stuff. It's a no-brainer for me to have them there, because they're one of the reasons that I put my shoes on, every time to go and try and go further, or try and go longer, or try and go faster, and but massive crew to do it, and having family help is invaluable back home for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sure they'll be watching the live stream from back home. And
it's going to be a long 2 weeks for everybody, I think. Grandparents, running crew, children.
Do you get much of a break afterwards, or I guess you're probably on quite a tight schedule to get back?
We are. Like it's not a holiday for us. It's an opportunity to come and do something that I may never get the opportunity to do again.
Yeah.
So we've got that time beforehand. We'll make the most of that, and then we actually fly out really quickly after where we kind of assumed. We've got flights booked, put it that way, to come back.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've given it enough time to see the event out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're straight back on the plane, and so assuming the event ran for a week, we fly back in on Sunday, New Zealand time of that Labour weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick turnaround coming home.
Yeah.
We're just maximizing the time we have there.
I'm sure you'll be pleased to have it all behind you by then.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how I'm going to feel through the plane ride on the way back. But the reality is that you're uncomfortable regardless. So, sit still for 14 hours, it might do me good.
Yeah. Cool. So 600 Ks was 90 hours.
Yeah.
What gives you the mental stability to be able to push beyond that?
To push beyond that?
You talked about some mental strategies that you've been working on.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of work. Lots of different breathing techniques is one of them. Like I said, it's really important for me to understand where I am mentally and also verbalize that so that my crew know.
Yeah.
It's important that we figure out, if I'm in what I'd call a low, then I don't want to be doing techniques that are going to try and make me present in the run or make me aware of what I'm doing. So that's a time where we really need to focus on distraction, mental games to distraction, a lot of visualization, a mental arithmetic, just anything that you can do to sort of distract your mind away from how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Get you thinking about something else.
Going to be very much
working on
team game, wouldn't it?
Yes,
really, with your crew,
very much. So a lot of that, we haven't established anything in a lap by lap plan because it's really hard to do that because you don't know how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
So what we will be doing is we'll be sitting down. We've got a lot of flight time ahead of us, and a week beforehand we'll be doing a lot of discussion around what's been working in my training.
Yeah.
If they notice me going into a low, what sort of technique they want to use to try and pull me out of it, get me thinking about something else. If I'm present in the run, then actually being able to, if I'm in a point where I can enjoy the run and I'm in a positive mind frame, then actually finding things about the course or finding things about how I'm feeling can be really powerful as well, because they can almost bit of an endorphin and a bit of adrenaline. So yeah, I think understanding those sorts of different mental tactics and noting them down is going to be the next couple of weeks.
Sure, you could write a very informative book after this journey.
I don't know if I want to put that much thought into a backyard after this. We'll see how we go. Yeah. They're really mentally taxing. And for me, it has felt like quite a big year with running.
Because you've done a couple of, you did Blue Lakes last weekend, wasn't it?
I did Blue Lake last weekend, yeah, as a bit of a shakeout run. It hasn't been hugely public, but I did announce it that I actually got hit by quite a bad dose of pneumonia about 5 weeks ago now, which definitely wasn't on the training plan. So having the flu, which turned into pneumonia, really sort of knocked me down. But I was still working with Lottie, and we were just making sure that mentally I was under the understanding and a really positive mindset that, there's recovery time from this, and we'll make the most of what we've got left, and just trying to stay really positive about it. So
yeah, guess you've got do what you can do, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so Blue Lake was sort of my first big shakeout since coming away from that. And
Yeah.
all in all, it went reasonably well. I managed to get 72 Ks in the time that I had on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was enjoyable. It was great. You know, I saw lots of people. I had lots of conversations. I smiled a lot. And I think that's really where my head needs to be at now, is just really enjoying this time that we've got left. So yeah, making the most of it.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, well, thank you so much, Simon, for sharing your journey with us.
That's all right. Thank you for being part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, actually, we didn't talk nutrition, did we? Actually, that was the other thing I was going to touch base on.
Lots of honey.
Yeah. So food-wise, when you go into one of these, do you try and, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people about it, but try and go whole foods for as long as you can, or?
Yeah, so I'm probably the opposite to most ultra runners. I don't use any form of like liquid nutrition other than clean electrolytes.
Yeah.
So all my food and all my nutrition is whole foods. I mean, outside of sort of ginger beer and custard, which everyone will probably remember from Dead Cow, and you know, so a lot of it's whole foods, which I find has always worked. And the benefit of the backyard is that you're not always moving fast enough that your body can't tolerate it. For me, I know a lot of people who, you know, have their ups and downs with the nutrition of a backyard, but so I do really try and focus on whole foods. But there are times where, you know, like having you guys on board and having the HiveEnergy gels at night, I find them really helpful in particular.
Right.
When you don't want to eat a lot, because your circadian rhythm doesn't generally need it.
Yeah.
You know, especially on the loops when you're trying to get some sleep, you know, like being able to put a gel back 10 minutes before you come in or 10 minutes after you leave is really beneficial to making sure you can keep the carb numbers up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you try and plan your, like, do you try and plan fast laps so that you can get a little bit more sleep in during the nights and things?
Yep, definitely. So we've got I run a bit of a scheme. I actually started doing it after I heard Phil talk about his sleep plans, and I've just adapted it to what suits me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a couple of fast loops, then a slower loop to get some nutrition and a little bit of recovery on the body, and then a couple of fast loops. And you know, by the time you do that 3 times, you're 9 hours through the night, and generally you get a little bit of dawn starting to come through in 1 or 2 loops. So
yeah,
and that's just what works for me. But it's also really critical that you just listen. Like if there's a loop where I'm supposed to be having some food and not sleeping, but my body's telling me I need the sleep, then we will adapt the plan to how I'm feeling. Definitely. You've got to be able to listen to those cues. So and having the planned nutrition actually helps with that. You know, like I go through, we've kept all of my race plans from day one, or actually not day one because I didn't have one on my first one, but I think from the second or third one where we started really planning stuff out a bit more, we've kept all the race plans, and we can go back and we can look at what I was eating, how I was feeling, and we just take the good bits out of each of it, and now we've got a really locked in idea of what we need to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, well, fingers crossed for 2 weeks' time that all goes swimmingly. I think you've probably had your tough times over the last month or so. So
yeah,
you know, let's put all that behind us and push on to the next.
Definitely. Yeah.
Next few weeks.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks again, Simon, for giving up your time. I know it's
not a problem, Megan.
Crazy schedule for you at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah.
And
Still a
all the
bit to do,
best.
but we're getting on top of it.
Yeah, and all the best from all our listeners as well. So
Yeah. Thank you so
thank you.
much. Thanks.